I just got back from a beach town that had been devastated by a hurricane a year ago. And sad to say, I had not remembered the dates, but once I was there, I got to be a part of their celebration of opening things up again. It was so exciting. And I even stumbled on a rededication of one of their museums. And community leaders are there, and they're talking about how everybody pulled together and they're committed to their town, and they're not only going to get back to normal, they are going to get to a place of even more connection and a stronger community. What a beautiful image that was. And that picture actually stuck with me because I think about the beautiful community within a marriage and the joy that sexual intimacy is designed by God to bring a husband and wife, but pain can be like a storm that is devastating, that causes a huge interruption. And that is just not the way that we want to stay. We always want to be thinking about how can we rebuild? How can we make it better and stronger? So I am unpacking today how pelvic floor therapy can help when there is pain during sex. And I have some very practical steps for you to take, so stay with me. Here we go. I want to set the stage by saying God's design is for husbands and wives' bodies to fit together, for this to bring joy and pleasure and unity, and not pain. So if there is pain, there are three things you must do right now. Number one, acknowledge it. We don't need to ignore it. We don't need to minimize it. Your first step is to acknowledge, there's pain during sex. Your second step is to find out why, to determine what is the root cause. This does make a difference because there will be different things that you do to address it, whether it's physical only, whether it's emotional only, whether it's a combination. That's usually the story. So number three is to be proactive and taking steps for healing and restoration is the best thing you can do for you and for your marriage. And I'm just excited to share with you some things about pelvic floor therapy to get you started. Here are 5 ways pelvic floor therapy can help if there is pain during sex. Number 1, it relaxes muscle tension. So if things are too tight, then you will not feel comfortable. And I'm speaking primarily to women. If you are experiencing pain and it feels constrictive, then there can be tension there. And a lot of women hold tension in their pelvic floor and they're not even aware of it. It's like a chronic situation and it can make penetration painful. So that is a huge part of the situation, and we can address this, as I said, emotionally, relationally, and physically. Number 2, pelvic floor therapy will strengthen muscle weakness. Now, this is very common after childbirth and also when there is a loss of estrogen due to aging, due to any type of peri or postmenopausal stages of life. So very common, but we don't just want to accept it because it's common, especially when there are things that you can do to make a difference. Number 3, it will improve flexibility and circulation. So just think about this. We're getting the blood moving. We're getting the tissues moving. All of that will help. We don't want to just be rigid. We don't want to be loosey-goosey. We want the right amount of vibrancy within the pelvic floor muscles. And this can, when we are improving that flexibility, it will reduce the pain and increase comfort. And anytime I say increase comfort, that is a gateway to pleasure, because it's not just enough to not have pain and to be comfortable. We definitely want to go after that place of mutual pleasure. Number 4, it will restore core balance. Sometimes we're not even aware that's what's going on. You can lack some coordination, certainly when couples are getting into their positions and wanting their weight to be the right balance for each other for the comfort and the pleasure. Then this is important. And what it will do, it's a retraining on how to contract and also relax properly. Maybe you didn't know that this was a thing. Maybe you're going back to childbirth only. Well, Kegels have come a long way, baby. And I'm going to be unpacking more of that as we go. But this is in good news for us. Number 5, it re-engages the mind body connection, because God did make us a 3-part being: spirit, soul, and body. And bringing healing to all 3 of those areas is absolutely going to be the best possible scenario. So you may need to release some fear. Certainly, if there's been any type of trauma, and actually, if there's been pain in the past and you anticipate more pain just because that's what you've known, you can already have tension even before you start. This mind-body connection will also restore safety. That's where a lot of the communication relationship skills come into play, because you do need to talk about this. Women, if you are experiencing this pain and you haven't had the conversation with your husband, you're doing both of you a disservice. If he doesn't know, he can't help. And there's no reason for you to face this alone. We don't want you to feel like you're in isolation with this issue. Now, the other side of this mind-body connection, it begins to heighten your awareness. You are aware of the movement within the muscles, and that can help you to be aware of sensitivity, and this is the positive sensitivity. Some women, way past the pain, are using similar muscles and exercises to prepare their bodies to engage in sexual intimacy. So you can prime the pump, so to speak, and learning these techniques to get out of the pain, to get to a place of comfort physically, mentally, emotionally, and then get to a place where you're having pleasure with intimacy. That is always our goal. Now, I just want to stop right here and say, if painful sex has been a part of your story, I want you to know that help is available. I don't want you to push through it. I don't want you to give up on it. I want you to take the steps, learning more about pelvic floor therapy. I'm excited that you've stayed with me this far in our talk. And I also want to offer my services as a relationship coach. As I said, there can be emotional and relational components that are a part of your pain during sex. So if we get some good collaboration going here, spirit, soul, and body, then we will get you on the way to healing, restoration, joy, connection, pleasure, all of the good things that God intended for sexual intimacy and marriage. You can check the link below, sign up for a call, and see how I might be able to help you through your process. Thanks so much for joining. Oh, and before I really want to close this out, I want to go back to our storm story, because that town, it rebuilt after the storm, and it decided not to stay stuck in that place of pain and devastation. And with God's design in mind and support through pelvic floor therapy, through relationship coaching, Wow, we can get your intimacy restored to a place where it's safer, stronger, and better than before. Aren't you glad you tuned in today? So remember, God's design for a thriving marriage is an intimate connection in spirit, soul, and body.